The article discusses the recent conflict between Hamas and Israel, which escalated on the 50th anniversary of the Yom Kippur War. Hamas launched a brutal attack on Israel, resulting in over 1,000 deaths, mostly civilians, and the kidnapping of 200 people. The Indian National Congress condemned Hamas attacks but criticized Israel's disproportionate response, leading to the deaths of innocent Palestinians, including children. The article emphasizes the need for dialogue to achieve a just peace between Israelis and Palestinians and calls for international intervention to stop the violence. The Indian National Congress supports direct negotiations for a sovereign, independent, viable, and secure state of Palestine coexisting peacefully with Israel.
The Chief Justice of India expressed concern over the Maharashtra Assembly Speaker's inaction regarding disqualification petitions pending since July 2022, emphasizing the importance of court orders. The article discusses the historical role of speakers as impartial figures, custodians of parliamentary rights, and their functions in certifying bills and deciding on defection cases. It highlights the misuse of suspension powers against opposition members and the need for unbiased decision-making. The piece criticized the Speaker's authority to decide defection cases, suggesting an independent tribunal for such matters. Comparisons with the British system are made, emphasizing the need for impartiality and adherence to democratic practices in the Speaker's role.
The Parliamentary Standing Committee on Home Affairs is close to finalizing its report on 3 bills aimed at replacing existing criminal laws in India. The draft report has been postponed for adoption due to demands from opposition members requesting more time to study it. The dissenting notes mainly concern the text of the proposed laws, particularly the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita and the Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita. There is consensus on the Bharatiya Sakshya Bill, replacing the Indian Evidence Act. Concerns have been raised about the adequacy of scrutiny, with calls for wider consultations and more time for detailed examination. Members have requested an extended deadline for in-depth analysis, arguing against haste in introducing the bills during the winter session of Parliament. Areas needing careful review include potential misuse of new definitions, the introduction of offences like hate speech, and the scope for procedural reform in the criminal justice system.
The Enforcement Directorate's ED investigation into Rajasthan Congress leaders, including party president Govind Singh Dotasra and MLA Om Prakash Hudla, has raised concerns about selective targeting of opposition figures. The investigation is related to alleged leaks in a competitive exam, leading to cancellations. The Congress accuses the BJP of using the ED to create disruptions before the elections. The article criticized the ED's biased approach, highlighting its actions mainly against opposition-led states. The piece stresses the importance of impartiality, calling for an end to the weaponization of law enforcement against political rivals, as it undermines democracy and governance.
The article challenges the optimistic narrative of India's high GDP growth, emphasizing the flawed nature of GDP as a measure of economic welfare. Despite the claim of being the fastest-growing major economy, India's GDP growth has slowed significantly over the past 2 decades, primarily due to weak mass demand. The article reveals that the pre-COVID growth was dire, and the post-COVID recovery has been inconsistent, indicating ongoing demand weakness. The policy focus on supply-side measures and tax cuts has failed to stimulate corporate investment. The analysis suggests a medium-term annual GDP growth forecast of 3% to 4%, contrary to the prevailing narrative of high growth.
The Indian Railways, IR, has been increasing its capital expenditure, CAPEX, but has failed to improve its operating ratio, which is the ratio of expenses to gross traffic receipts, leading to rising debt. The IR spending on repaying debt has surged to 17% of revenue receipts, impacting its financial stability. The article also highlights the challenges faced by the IR's freight business, which is profitable while passenger services incur significant losses, necessitating a focus on boosting freight volumes and revenue to offset these losses. The IR's modal share in India's freight business has declined to around 27%.
Maria Corina Machado, a prominent opposition figure in Venezuela, won a significant victory in the recent opposition primary. This development came just days after the Biden administration agreed to ease long-standing sanctions against Venezuela's oil, gas, and mining industries in exchange for President Nicolás Maduro conducting free and fair elections in 2024. The re-engagement between Washington and Caracas was influenced by shifts in geopolitical realities following the Russia-Ukraine war. Venezuela, with the world's largest oil reserves, played a crucial role in addressing the energy crisis resulting from the conflict. The sanctions relief may help Venezuela restore access to U.S. financial markets and revive its economy. However, President Maduro's autocratic regime and the country's socio-economic crisis continue to pose significant challenges.
Qualcomm is shifting its focus to generative artificial intelligence, Gen AI, unveiling products supporting Gen AI applications at the Snapdragon Summit 2023. CEO Cristiano Amon stated that Gen AI use cases have multiplied, with hundreds now and potentially thousands by 2024. The company introduced advanced chipsets for PCs and Android smartphones, emphasizing high-end computing and running large language models on devices. The newly launched Orion System on Chip (SoC) for PCs, developed by the Nuvia team acquired by Qualcomm, outperforms Apple's M2 Max, according to Qualcomm's claims. This move aligns with Qualcomm's evolution from a communications to a connected processing company, aiming to boost its presence in the Gen AI market.